Can you hear that sound? Do you hear that sound? Pumping. Pumping now. I'm doing my 4th pump of the day. And when it's 20 minutes, it's currently on 14. When it's 20 minutes, I will show you what I've done so far. But you can see how stylish this looks, right? Like, I'm outside, I can be outside. You can see in terms of like size reference. Look. Yeah, it's sort of discreet, sort of. It can be stylish. I mean, do I look stylish? Anyway, let's get into pumping 101. I'm gonna put the milk in this bottle here just because we're able to measure it properly. The bottle is washed and it is sterile or sterilized. This is my last session of the day, and when it's getting towards the last session of the day, it's kind of like, you know, the reservoir is drying out. I'm gonna stop this now before my chest fries, because right now it's already feeling like it's frying. So let me see how I'm gonna do this on camera, but obviously still maintaining dignity. Do you get what I mean? Jeez. Okay, so this is not too bad for a, let me see how many mil this is saying. It's kind of saying, I don't know, I'm gonna check now. Oops. I'm about to show my pride and joy. Good idea to pump in front of you first before we get into the topic of the day. So let's see how many mil we have in here. 40, which is not bad for a leg. And this is what I do. I always do this because I must get every dot. Every dot. Not bad, honestly. I haven't drank as much today, and we are gonna do the next. It's incredible, right? That you can have all this goodness come out of you. Okay, can you guys see? So this is a 240 ml bottle. Obviously, it is going beyond that. We're gonna really get into this, guys. Talking pumping 101. Yes, I have my iPad here because, guys, I'm actually not playing. Like, look, I am absolutely not playing with you. Yes, because I have the points here and I don't want to, I don't want to miss anything. Anyway, so first and foremost, again, I'm just gonna give you like the overview of what this video is going to be about. Share like a quick background of how I got into pumping, my routine. That's gonna be part 2 of this video, and then the part 3 would be the 7 tips that will help you start pumping like a cow. Yes, if you are struggling, just depending on like what category you fall in, whether you're a mother to be, first time mom, second time mom, or you're new to pumping, or maybe you're not getting enough breast milk, this video is for you, sis. Let's start. How did I get into pumping? Long story short, we had a baby boy and it was a meconium situation. If you don't know what meconium is, it put inside of me. So we'd already started labor was progressing, everything was, looking good. We were already like, in pain for like 6 hours. And I was heading to my birth center. Thankfully to God, our pregnancy was very smooth. Everything was nice and easy. There was no problem at all. So they literally just marked us off, like the pastors to be able to do a birth center, because for you to do to give birth at a birth center, you have to have like zero problems, zero issues. So, and that was awesome. We're really grateful to God for that. And so we're already heading to the birth center, and I realized I went to the bathroom, and there comes the gush, and it was this browny, greeny, dark green gush, and I knew it was meconium because obviously I've been reading all about the whole, you know, you just know. And also, thankfully, I had my two sisters with me, and both of them are GPs, so they knew. They were just like, ooh, this is not looking good. So called the birth center, and then they said, we have to rush you to the hospital, and don't come to the birth center because, you know, this is an emergency. Anyway, we got there, and they had to then, you know, what was progressing as a natural birth, very beautiful, ended up being very traumatic, you know, emergency CS. And it wasn't even a normal CS. It was where, you know, general anesthesia, where they just put you to sleep completely. Like, I wasn't even awake. Anyway, I woke up and I couldn't see my baby for like the first, maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours or so, thereabout. And that's way too long for you to establish breastfeeding or even establish contact with your baby or bonding, or, you know, the whole beautiful shebang. I missed that. Woke up not even knowing that I'd given birth. It was like, what am I doing here in a hospital? Like, I didn't even recognize my husband for the first like 2 minutes. I was like, who's this? Because I couldn't establish, you know, the bonding, the first contacts, you know, within the first 20 minutes, because that's what they always say, that, you know, the first 20 minutes, get the baby to your breast, like immediately, even if it's CS or natural birth, you have to. But this is me, 10 hours, sleeping, like on literally one leg in heaven, one leg on earth. That was essentially where I was. So 8-10 hours, I didn't see my baby. So when I eventually saw the baby was in NICU, and baby obviously was in NICU for 3 days, and it had to have, you know, it had to be bottle fed. That again, 0. Do not bottle feed your baby at the beginning. Anyway, but it is what it is. Baby had to eat, and the bottle fed baby, and baby is already now used to, obviously the first thing baby had was, you know, an artificial, you know, breast, so to speak, with teeth. And then when he then had it, it wasn't even like a naturally controlled flow. It's the one that the milk is just gushing like to his mouth. So when he eventually got to my breast, he's thinking, what kind of texture is this? And then the next thing is thinking, this is too slow. I'm having to work so hard for these. No, I didn't want to give up, and eventually latched on, and breast was flowing, but my breast didn't flow as quickly as it should. Again, my body probably didn't even know that I'd given birth. Like I said, mine was just too traumatic. The baby eventually latched. I keep saying baby. Really eventually, it's called really eventually latched to my breast, sucked well, but honestly, for the first 2 months, that was what we did. It was breastfeeding, and I was pumping, because I really wanted my flow to be bountiful and substantial. And I plan to breastfeed for 12 months. Right now we are about 7 months. Anyway, 2 months down the line, baby said, no mom, your breast is too slow for me. Like, I need this milk to be gushing into my mouth. And honestly, I have a foodie on my hands. Like, this boy is a legit foodie. Like, and he wants the food to like go. So obviously, and you know the flow with the breast, it's just not as fast. One day it just stopped. Literally, it was just like to my nipples, like, take this thing off me, it's too slow. That's how I ended up pumping exclusively, because I was not going to resort to formula. I'm not saying that formula is bad for people that give babies to formula. Formula is good. I even use formula. Like, maybe one of those days where I'm stuck outside and I forgot my milk at home or something, because this baby's not going to latch. I was just not going to do exclusively, feeding him formula. No, absolutely not. That was not what I prayed for. So I started pumping. So that's the background story. So moving on to part 2 is what my routine is, my routine of pumping. And I'm just going to sort of like give you an overview, because where I am right now is not where you are going to start if you're just starting off, or, we all have different journeys. So I'm going to give you an overview just to give you context. So when we gave birth, we literally started pumping from the get-go, because I was ready and aggressive. The violence shall do what? Take it by force. And I was not going to take a back seat. So we started pumping every 2 hours. Yes. And I remember that my first ever. So we started by extracting, you know, that little 0.1 mil of, you know, colostrum. So we started with that, and it's so sad because I actually didn't have any photo or videos of me doing that. I mean, I was in so much pain and I'd just given birth. The last thing on my mind is taking videos of my chest whilst I looked like a smoked goat. We started pumping every 2 hours, and I remember that the first, when my breast milk, when it came through, I think it came through like day 3 or day 4. It even took so long, and I know obviously you can't compare to some people because some people took longer than that, but mine took like 4 days before it came through. When it came through, I was pumping like 20 mil. It was so depressing. 20 mil, I'm like, 20 mil, what is this, baby? Like 20 mil is like a teaspoon. I was like, this is ridiculous. And the midwives are like, don't worry, your baby only needs like 30 to 30 mil anyway, because the tummy is like this. That's okay, fine. There's no hope for me. And at this point, I wasn't even sure if my baby was a foodie or not. So 20 mil, and then gradually, you know, it was increasing, and people were saying, take pap, take oat, take this, take that. Like, I was trying. What did I not try? I was researching, Googling, what should I eat? What should I drink? What should I say? It was ridiculous. Eventually, my mom was just like, well, just drink lots of pap. You gotta drink pap. You gotta drink. I'm a pap person. And I was just taking pap like a normal person. They were like, you must go pee. Honestly, that time is such a dark period of my life. Personally, I don't think it helped. I would have oat, and at some point I was thinking, oh my God, oat helped me. And genuinely, I feel like oat helped, but in the grand scheme of things, I wanted my milk to be flowing, because I had some of my friends that gave birth at that time, and their flow was just like River Niger. It was like, I was not gonna give up, honestly. Nothing was gonna let me give up. I continued expressing, and I tried different pumps as well. I tried Spectra, and I just didn't like this whole hand thing. It was just too much. Honestly, if you guys know me, baby girl for life, soft life for life. Tried Spectra, I tried Mandela at the hospital, the hospital grade 1. And I feel like that really helped me in terms of like establishing my flow. I have to actually give it really helped. And I remember seeing it in one of those hospital, what's it called, like tubs. And I was like, oh my God, look at my milk. And my milk was like literally reaching to that point. And I switched to MOMCOZY, and I felt like, oh, this is good. I can just pump on the go. And now I realized that MOMCOZY was probably the problem of my life. And I'm gonna tell you why. Just 2 days ago, I saw my MOMCOZY, and I've basically dumped it for the past 4 months. So I thought, well, let me just use this, you know, it's been so long, let me try it. I tried it out. And then day 2, the next day, I realized that my breasts stopped, like it was taking me back to the times of where, you know, I was having breast engorgement and, you know, mastitis. It then just dawned on me like, wait, MOMCOZY was a problem in my life. It was not emptying my breast entirely. And I actually had lots of people tell me on Instagram then like, oh, MOMCOZY is not so good because it doesn't empty your breast entirely. And I was like, oh, it empties mine. It empties mine. I could have been producing a lot more in the early days, but MOMCOZY did not allow me. But I mean, it's just, this is my own personal experience. It probably empties your breast properly, but not mine. That definitely affected my flow, because the breast that should be coming out was being engorged, and that just was such a bad experience for me. Those bad experiences for the first 3-4 months are the things that have now helped to shape where I am now, and it's helped me to establish a routine. So my daily routine, when I started, was every 2 hours, then I progressed to 3, and then 4 hours. Established 4 hours by month, maybe month 3. By month 4, I was now on 5 hours. So now I'm currently on 5 hours, 6 hours. I don't go past 6 hours because that's starting to really take the piece. This is what I do now, 5-6 hours, and I pump like 300 to 320 ml per session. If I do that like 4 or 5 times a day, you can already calculate that I'm pumping well over 1,000 ml per day. 1,000 ml, well, 1 liter. Yeah, I'm pumping over, like, wait, let me actually do the calculation of how much I'm pumping per day. I'm doing well over like 1.5 liters of breast milk a day. You know, one of those big bottles of water, those long ones, some of them are like 1 liter. Yes, I'm doing 1.5 liter of those, so it's a lot. So if you want to sort of get to that point, I mean, starting, you know, coming from someone that started pumping 60 ml a day now to, you know, over 1.5 liter a day, it is, you know, I guess I have a lot to tell you, and I have a lot of my experiences that could help you, you know, starting right and maintaining a good routine. Like I said, I do 6 hours a day, and if it's 6 hours a day, that's like 4 times. Sometimes I sort of like do 5 hours, and then it sort of falls into 5 hours / 6 times a day. And yeah, that's 7 tips of pumping exclusively and surviving the pumping world and just being fabulous at this and just enjoying yourself and not being in pain and wailing away. Okay, get your paper, get your notepads, get your pens. You ready? Number 1, eat well. Right, you have to eat like a glutton. Like, you must be eating like how. And sis, this is not the time for you to be doing, oh, I'm doing snatch back. There is nothing like snatch back when you know you need to breastfeed. This is not formula. You have to eat like a thief in the night. Carbs, yes, rice, pasta. You have to be eating all this veg. Of course, you have to eat veg because you're trying to get your baby to have all of these foods, like the, you know, the veg, the fruits, but majority of your food should be carbs, like heavy carbs. Trust me, everything's gonna go to breast milk, especially if you're trying to aim at, you know, pumping 2 liters a day or like 1.5. It's gonna go. Look at me. Look. See what is left of me in this life. See what is left of me. See what breastfeeding has turned me to. I'm literally, like my husband says, oh, tell her you've gone back to how you were when I met you, which is like 10 million years ago. You cannot be doing snatch back, no, there's nothing like that. Snatch back where? Anyway, breastfeeding will snatch you back to drink well. You have to drink lots. Like, I mean, you can drink anything, hot chocolate, I mean, avoid caffeinated drinks, but you have to drink lots of, like, just drinks, like any drink, juice, water. I mean, majorly water. I mean, water is your best friend. You have to think about it this way. If you're trying to get water out, you gotta put water in. Water in, water out, water in, water. I don't even drink enough water, but I'm always trying to, every time of the day, I'm always trying to get tea, you know, decaffeinated tea down my throat. Avoid coffee. Yes, it's gonna dry you. You're gonna be a desert. Breastfeeding will turn you to a desert. You will be Dubai. If Dubai was a person, it would be you. 3, establish a routine. You can't just say, today I'm gonna pump 5 times. Oh, tomorrow, I'm too tired. I'm only gonna pump once. You can't do that. You actually have to, routine, so key. I can't even stress routine enough. You have to have a routine because you're telling your body that your body needs to produce a certain amount of, you know, meals, you know, per day and per session, because there is a baby on demand. Does that make sense? So if you want your body to be producing like 3,000 meals a day, then you have to work your body to say, this baby is hungry. So you have to be pumping like every 30 minutes, because then your body is telling the breast to produce so much milk because there is a hungry baby and that baby must be fed. God is amazing, right? God is so, it's phenomenal. Like, how is the body even designed in such an impeccable manner? Like, and someone tells me there is no God. I'm not about to get into that. That's a preaching, that's a topic for another day. You have to establish a routine. If you're going to be doing every 3 hours, stick to it. If you're going to miss like a session maybe by an hour, yes, but the next session you've got to, you know, go back into routine. If you're going to do every 10 hours, let it be every 10 hours. You can't say, oh, today I'm going to do every 5 hours, tomorrow. No, sis, that's not going to work. You have to do a routine. And you drop in your routine, it's going to show in the next routine. You will just not have anything. I remember some people were telling me before, you have to be doing every 3 hours. That's an ad. Like, again, I do every 6 hours right now. And that's because, again, I've trained my body and I've put my body into that routine to say, listen, I'm a soft light babe. I'm not going to be doing every 2 hours because I have a life to live. Can we just do every 6 hours, please? Does that work? Or every 5 hours? So my body now stores the milk, and every 5 hours I just let down. If I don't eat well, I'm going to be getting like 200 ml. If I eat very well, ooh, 300, 320 ml, here I come. But yeah, everything again just depends on me. It depends on like the first 2 points that I've given you. So you can see how everything is like, you know, it's like, it just has like a ripple effect. If you do 1 and 2 well, then 3 is just going to work for you and you will just have a good let down. You have to power pump. Ooh. Can I hear you say power pump? I'm sure some of you are thinking, what's power pump? What do you mean power pump? You have to power pump. Now, you can't power pump every day because it's not realistic, and I'm going to tell you what power pump is. Power pump is when you tell your body that I need you to produce a lot more. And the way you do this is when you trick your body to tell your body that your baby is very hungry. How do you do that? You are going to pump for the first 20 minutes. You wait 10 minutes. You pump for another 10 minutes. You wait 10 minutes and then you pump for the last 10 minutes. Now, everything is then going to total to an hour. It sounds bizarre, right? It just sounds like wild. Like, how am I supposed to pump for an hour straight? Sis, when you have a child, you will have that strength. Nothing is going to tell you otherwise. You will just get that strength from nowhere. You have to do power pump like at least I'll say once a week, because this helps your body just, you know, get the flow back into, you know, into routine, and it just helps you to pump so much more. Now, when you power pump, you want to power pump the first thing in the morning. Don't power pump like when your breasts have dried up. It's not going to work. And also in the morning, it's like when there's this thing that, oh, your body produces a lot of milk from like 2 a.m. to like 4 a.m. or to like 6 a.m. And so you want to sort of like pump around that time, you want to power pump around like 5 a.m. I know it sounds like a lot of work, like a lot of hard work, but it is, honestly. I'm not even telling you that, oh, this is a walk, you know, in the park. It isn't. It is so difficult. But once you establish a routine and you establish, you know, that flow, your body is just going to be chilling like I am right now, because I just have a routine and I follow it, and it's all well and good. As soon as you're waking up, you just want to do this. You don't want to be like, let me go and brush my... There's no time to brush your teeth, because already once you brush your teeth, your body is already saying, oh, I don't think there's a baby that needs to eat, so let's start taking the breast milk back. Oh, let's dry it up because there's no baby anymore. The baby doesn't want anything to eat. Power pump in the morning, sis. Power pump. Point 5 would be that you have to pump for at least 30 minutes, like in one session. And I'm going to explain to you. Now, when I started pumping, the first 4 months, I was pumping for 45 minutes straight. When I tell you I'm gangster, I mean, nobody can tell me anything. When I want to do something, I go for it. 45 minutes, I remember some of my friends telling me, I can never do 45 minutes. Trust me, I did 45 minutes for the first like 3 months. Every like 3 hours. 45 minutes. And I'm going to tell you, my chest was on fire. Honestly, it's like someone just lit a matchstick and just keep... It was so tough, but like 3-4 months is the most crucial time, because that's the time you are telling your body to produce a lot of milk because you have a foodie at hand. Does that make sense? So if the first 3-4 months you are slacking, trust me, your body is just gonna go down. It's just gonna be like, let's say this baby doesn't like that much food, and this baby doesn't eat frequently, and there's no point. Let's just be producing 50 mil, and that's not your portion size, because you want to give your baby lots of food. So you want to pump for 30 minutes. But what I do now is that I do 20 minutes. I let my breast rest, because guys, I've been doing this now for so long. I let it rest for 10 minutes, then I do the last 10 minutes. And what that does is that your body, in that 10 minutes of break, your breast just sort of like recuperates itself. It's almost like break time, like, oh, just rest. And whilst you're resting is then obviously producing a little bit more in that 10 minutes, and then you have another letdown for the next 10 minutes. And when you're done, honestly, I promise you, this 20-10 minutes ratio is the best thing I have ever discovered. I don't think I didn't see it anywhere, but I just, after I made so many mistakes and tried too many things, I realized that this 20-10 ratio plus power pump once a week is the best thing after sliced bread. Massage your breasts when pumping. So when you're pumping, just do this, like, just give your breast a good massage. And what that does is that it just helps the heat that your hand produces. It helps to let down any like locked up fluid or knots in your breast, and it just helps a good flow. So you want to do that every now and then. I don't do that every time, because I can't imagine me in the shops doing this as I'm pumping. That's wrong. I can't be going around doing this, but just do that maybe in the morning, here and there. But it's not an every session thing. Point 7 is that take your lactation meds. Take your lactation meds. It's not really a med, it's just like a vitamin supplement. I mean, when I say meds, it sounds really serious. It's just a supplement, and I'm going to show you the exact one I use. This is the exact one that I use. It's called sunflower lecithin. Right, sunflower lecithin. Now, this saved my entire life, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it does. It doesn't, I wouldn't say it helps you produce more. It doesn't. What it does is that it unclogs all the fatty clogs. So like all those, like, just imagine, it's like when your breast milk has like oil in it, and when it's stored up and it's cold, it's just there. What this does is that it helps to just melt all those like clogs. So it then means that when it helps to melt those like fatty clogs, it means that you do produce more. So it's weird, right? It's like, it doesn't help you, it doesn't, bring the breast milk from nowhere. It doesn't do that. It just, whatever breast milk that is already in there, it helps those milk flow out, everything, so that you can empty out your breast milk, like empty out your breast, and then it prevents mastitis. I was already on the verge of having mastitis. Like, I was this close. I had to go to the hospital to get antibiotics to just prevent it, because I was having shivers, I was having pain. If this right breast was not clogged up, this left breast was clogged up. And I don't think I've actually experienced anything that painful. I don't even think labor, honestly, when you ask me, choose between labor and breastfeeding, I choose labor. Oh, I choose labor. I am not choosing breastfeeding. I'm sorry. What? Labor, you just labor 2 days. I know people say to me, I was in labor for like 2 years. Trust me, maximum you're in labor for 6 days, 7 days, and that's it. This one, you're doing it every single day, round the clock for a year. Now, breastfeeding is nobody's mate. Use your lactation meds. That, honestly, I use this I've been using this every day for the past 3 months, and it's made such a huge difference in just the experience entirely. Use flange inserts. This flange insert is a thing, I think this is what saved my life. Because before, and I'm going to show you what a flange insert is now. Before I started using this flange insert, I would, can you say this? I would use this and place it directly on my nipples, thinking that was the right size. So what that does is that it sucks. So imagine this is like the opening of your palm. It just sucks your entire breast like this. Ah! I can still feel the pain. Yes, I can feel the pain. It literally just sucks your entire breast like this, and it sucks it. And this is me thinking, oh, it's just gonna suck it and suck everything out. No, you have to use a flange insert. And what the flange inserts do is that it's the right sizing for your nipples. We all have like different nipple shapes and sizes and whatnot, so you have to measure your nipples when you're doing the flange insert. You can get everything on Amazon. I'm going to put down like a list of the things that I use. When you get the proper and the right measurement, pumping is a breeze. It takes away like 80% of the pain. I've been using this pump for 3 months of pain, and nobody told me, not even the manual. And you know when everything makes such a huge difference? When I got this pump. I got this pump and they gave me like different flange inserts. Now with MOMCOZY, no flange insert. They didn't even give me any information. Honestly, it's, yeah, learn from my experiences. Sis, please learn. Get your flange inserts. Measure your nipples and get the correct sizing. Usually when you order like the insert, it will come with like 6 different sizes. So just put it and measure it up. And I wish I can show you this, but guys, I'm not an OnlyFans person, please. I don't do OnlyFans. I cannot teach you how to measure your breasts on Instagram and YouTube, please. Please, I'm a child of God. I'm a child for God. I gotta cover up. Anyway, I hope you guys have learned 1 or 2 things. I thought I would show you a lot of myself today because I like chit chats and it's just so fun. Let me know, drop your comments. You've got to just encourage me, guys. Drop your comments. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you're going to be trying. And I've put all the link in the caption. So go purchase these things and set yourselves free. Love you guys. Have a great week. Bye.